Welcome back to Absolute Duo Anime Review, episode number 4. This I'm reviewing the last two episodes of the anime, The Killing Game and Absolute Duo. Now, I was correct at the last episode, or adapted from Book 4. I read Book 4, it seemed like a series of stories. It wasn't like one cohesive story like the first two books were. And basically, if you're curious still about like the meeting that happened during episode 10, yeah, that's taken from chapter 5. Well, the last bit of it anyways. And basically 11 and 12 are taken from chapters 6 and 7 of book 4. So, not in complete adaptation. Like, unlike the first two books, which is a complete adaptation, book 4 did not receive full adaptation. Like, if there is a season 2, which I hope there is, please, for the love of God, actually bother to finish adapting this book, because there's a lot of stuff in this book. Like, a lot of really interesting stuff. Like, there's stuff that happened right afterwards. I'll get to that. Yeah, it's most like series of stuff, like classes. Lilith basically, basically you have Tor basically head with Lilith for a chapter, head with Julie for a chapter. Magabi is not actually in the book until the stories they actually adapt for the episode, the chapters like 5 through 7. So, episode 11 picks up exactly where episode 10 leaves off, where Magabi basically has her group, the rebels, attack the level 3s, third years, and they get wiped out pretty easily. And yet these guys are apparently more powerful than the main characters. Yeah, this is the instance of main character shields, where they actually able to defeat the rebels, not much of a problem at all, while the people who are supposed to be stronger than them are completely weak. Yes, so Magabi, of course, basically takes out Lilith, basically kicking her in the gut. Yeah, it's later revealed that after she got kicked in the gut by Magabi, she broke 5 of her ribs. Yeah, she broke 5 of her ribs, and they actually cut that out of the anime. Yes, that's something I thought was kind of weird, was the stuff that happened afterwards. I'll get to that. So, when, of course, Kay runs away, Julie and most of the group, with the exception of Toru, basically stays behind to take on Magabi. Everyone else go take on Kay, and he sends more goons. He takes out more people. He takes out basically Lilith and Tor's best friend, though they later take on Kay's group. And then we have like a big epic brawl where he gets defeated, and Equipment Smith basically, and also Magabi, of course, she's defeated. For first, she gets slapped, and then her suit is destroyed. Yep, completely destroyed, that she basically put on just a couple episodes ago. She basically, this outfit's completely destroyed. And Equipment basically, yeah, I don't want anything to do with you. So Equipment goes out, beats up Kay for being a failure. Kay just kills him by basically he basically tries to act like a self-destruct sequence, like it's a giant pocket watch. So what's Kay do? Takes his hand and stabs right through Equipment Smith's chest. Probably instantly killing him, maybe go through his heart as well. Mortal Kombat style, like, wow, that is something. He takes the armor and he takes on Tor and Julie one more time. And after a bit, Tor gets severely wounded during the battle. He gets like shot multiple times. And then when he gets down once, Julie goes nuts like she did back in episode 9. Yeah, back in episode 9, she basically did this, where her darkness comes out and she takes on him for a while. Like if Tor goes back to his feet and is able to restore, calm her down, though she briefly cuts his shoulder, but look up, he's perfectly fine. Basically calms her down, and then of course, they combine their power and they defeat Kay, destroying his armor. And then he disappears. There's some flashback bits where apparently he has a brother. Yes, he had an older brother who died. Yes. How and when, don't know. And also, it's over by Julie in the epilogue that's shown in the anime anyways. That's not where the book actually ends. There's actually a lot more story there that comes right after this, where she reveals she's not technically an Exceed. She's something else, but similar to an Exceed, where her power basically came from when her father was murdered right in front of her. And Tor's got no problem with it. He perfectly accepts that and sees her as there's no romantic chemistry between two of them at all. He sees her basically basically they're close friends. That's basically what they're partners and they're close friends. There's no technically romantic attachment between the two of them. Yes, Tor has seen Julie naked once, but there's no sexual attraction between them. Well, I wouldn't be surprised eventually he does. And, well, after he wakes in the hospital, they actually cut out a big bit, basically, what happened afterwards. Like, this up with Lilith is cut out, what happened to his best friend, and the fact they actually also cut out that Tor can actually see Julie because of their duo. In the anime, they cut that out for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And then later on, he finds Julie on top of the clock tower that basically where they made their pact as a duo back in episode 2. This was before the big battle. I think it was in the episode 1. Yeah, it's mostly like a bit of like a lot of callbacks to that episode, and the episode ends with reaffirming renewing their pledge, being partners, though it's more like a marriage ceremony in a way. And that's what the thing is. Lilith herself does virtually nothing. Yes. Now, if you're curious, so what happened after this battle? Tor takes Makabe on a date. Yes, an actual date. Not forced out like Lilith or hang out with Julie. An actual date where she was on a Komodo and they had a great time. Yeah, that's basically told in chapter 8 of the book, which the anime didn't bother to adapt. Yeah, there was a lot of book 8 basically, but not book 8, book 4 didn't adapt. They only adapted a portion of it for these 3 episodes. Now, in case you're curious though, was anything really original? Not really, no. They adapted a little bit from book 4, like roughly about 3 chapters. Yeah, I get the reason why they did this is because the team behind this series, probably had a limited time and they probably really wanted to adapt book 4. They probably get this particular story, which they got 3 chapters anyways. So they figured though, just adapt this for the anime and just skip everything else, but cut a little bit here. I would say most of what they adapt basically from chapters 5 to 7 is there. Like, I would say the fight sequence is basically amazing in the anime. It's intact. Though, it's mostly stuff that happened afterwards is cut. Yes. Now you might be asking, if there is Season 2, is there material for Season 2? The answer is yes. Yes, there is. There's plenty of material. They could easily just start off with basically Book 4. Yes. Start adapting basically the first few chapters of the book that they actually skipped over to get to that particular point last season. I mean, you could say it takes place after that battle. Like, I would probably start with the ending story, which focuses on Tor's date with Makabe, which that was really nice, and then do the other stuff, or depends on what they want to do. I would do that first, and then do Book 5 and Book 6. I would not adapt Book 7 for the season. No, I would just do it just 3 books. Don't do 4, because you end up basically what you got in this season. Basically a partial adaptation of a 296-page book. Now, there's overall, because where they got to, they adapted technically 3 books and part of another one. So, there are technically about 8 books left. So, excuse me. Yes, there is plenty of material they can do with Season 2. Yes, there's exactly 8 books. I, of course, have read the first 4. Though, for some reason, for English translation-wise, ones I've read, where, up to Book 5 is fully translated. Book 6 is not finished yet for some reason. Yes, it's incomplete. Not really sure why, but that's basically what it is. It's not that long of a series either. It's only about 11 books. Yes. Unlike some of the other anime I've reviewed, where the books of the series are a little bit longer than this, like Re:Zero, Rising of the Shield Hero, those 2 book series, 20 plus books. High School DxD, 20 plus books. There's some basically that have it over 10 books. Like the only one I can think of where I have finished all the books released for, and it is over 10 books, and that's not True High School DxD. That one only had 4. High School DxD had 25. So there is still plenty to adapt here. It's just that whenever the series decided to adapt it, I mean, it's been 6 years since they did the season. Is there still time to do another season? Yes, but if you're gonna do 12 episodes, just do 3 books. Don't do more than that. Just do 3 books, and that's it. That's all I recommend to do, because don't do what you did at the end of the series. Jump to one story, basically 3 chapters. Well, they had roughly about half of a chapter, mostly about 2.5 chapters they adapted. So, I would probably suggest doing that first, like do book 4 first, just step the rest of that, and book 5, and then probably end book 6. I would probably not start book 7 unless, of course, that part 6 is part 1 of a 2-part story. But I would end with basically book 6. But how more seasons could you get out of this? Well, you can get presumably about, with the amount of books left, I'd say about 3 seasons worth of material. Yes, I definitely say 3 seasons more material. Heck, you can even probably throw in some adaptation of Absolute Duo Tea Party. You can throw in that too, if you wanted to. Yeah, but all depends upon the studio who makes the series. Which, let's see, what was the name of the studio that made this series? I'm looking up on here, see if I can find it here. Okay, the studio who made this series is 8-Bit. Yes, that was seriously the name of the series. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure though. Yeah, that's the name of the studio.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but...
Sorry about that. I don't want to basically get copyright for playing audio in the background. Okay. Yeah, the studio who made this is known as 8-Bit. Yes, named after basically the old stuff. Now, this studio is known for making the series that's airing right now, The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slave. Yeah, they made that. Let's see. Aside from this series, ones I've watched, let's see. Well, it's basically Time Reincarnated as a Slave. Yeah, that was made the same studio. If you're curious about that series, like if you love that one, check out Absolute Duo because they do a pretty good job with it, with the exception of the last few episodes. Yeah, and the company itself only started like 10 years ago. Well, actually 13 years ago, but the first thing they worked on came out 10 years ago. Yeah. But the first thing they worked on was a movie. Yeah, it came out in 2009. Yeah, they're working on a few movies, a few OVAs. Yeah. Not exactly like around very long. Now, if you're curious, because I just finished Absolute Duo, what am I going to do next? Well, the thing is, basically, I'm going to be doing... Next thing I'm going to do is a series that actually is almost finished dubbing. And that's Our Last Crusade, or The Rise of a New World. Yes, I'm going to be discussing this series. But it won't come immediately. No. And from what I can tell, like in the case of Absolute Duo, and of course, Afria, it adapts the first 4 books of the series. Though, unlike Absolute Duo, which is 11 books, Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World is 10 books, as of right now anyways, and a spin-off book. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much what they adapted. That's what they adapted, basically, first 4 of 10. Yep. So, another series that came out just last year, last one I did, was Monster Girl Doctor. And I figured, though, okay, check out this one, because I was actually kind of curious about it, because I like the premise of this one, which is, it's a bit of a romance set in, like, sort of like a war, which I kind of like this. This is going to be interesting to watch, basically, when I get a chance to watch it. The books themselves are not very long, per se. I got a chance to hold the first book of the series, and it's a bit shorter than, let's say, the book I'm currently reading, which is this book right here, which is Afria Zero. I maybe mispronounced the name. I've heard it was Afria. But so far, no one has ever corrected me in the pronunciation of the series. But think of it basically, it's the same size as this book, same company, it's 7 Cs, but it's actually about half the length of this book. Yeah, this is the length of this book. Think about half the length of this book. That's how long the first book for Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World is. But it won't come right away. There's other books I want to read first, but I will get to eventually. But in the case you're curious, those are basically coming in the meantime. Well, I'm still planning on doing Assassination Classroom, Lupin the Third. Yes, I will get to that. And To Live Through Darkness. Which one I'm going to do first? I don't know yet. It just depends on my mood. which one of these 3 series, because those 3 series are ready to go, but it will depend upon when I'm ready to start them. That's the thing. Especially since in the case of Two of Darkness, where the whole thing is subbed. There's no dub for this one. As far as I can tell, there's no dub. Century Classroom, there is a dub. The whole series has been dubbed, though it wasn't fully adapted per se. There's a few chapters I skipped over. And in the case of Lupin, the original series, never dubbed. The second series is half of its dubbed, but not the entirety of it. But Lupin's definitely something I would get to eventually, but not at the moment. But it's something I've been looking forward to watching. I do like the manga, but I didn't like the... There's an aspect about Lupin I will discuss when I talk about Lupin that I never really cared for when it comes to Lupin. But discuss more about that when I talk about Lupin 3rd. Okay, so that's it for Stickler Review. Stay tuned for my reviews for ReZero and the 7 Deadly Sins. Okay, to the next video. Bye.